Good evening. Subscribe, like to Step of Life TV channel. Um, Solid. Just trying to share my story, basically. Um, I grew up in Nassau, New Providence. I was born in 1990, July 6th. Cancer baby, basically. Um, I kind of grew up privileged, even though I tried my best not to hold that quote unquote privilege over anybody. I usually treat every human being just like a human being. If you white, black, woman, man, gay, straight, whatever, if your circumstances, your situations, who you grew up in, I try to treat you as equal as possible. My problem was always the authoritarianism when it came down to interacting with anybody. When somebody tried to push power or authority over somebody else, there was a conflict in my family. Well, I can't necessarily say my family. There was a conflict in regards to me when it came down to my family and on the topic of sexuality and orientation and all of that. I got bullied and psychologically manipulated by friends and family members growing up all my life, which kind of drove me into a outcast type of recluse type situation. I've grown up being a loner for the last 30 years. Um, oh man, I don't even describe my life. It was normal, then it became weird. My parents was always strict. They Christian, Seventh Day Adventists. In and of itself, I always felt alienated growing up. I always felt by myself, so I never got the whole relationship-based concept. I felt like I wasn't really a part of the crowd situation, so the whole concept of relationship was an alien. It was an alien experience. It was something that somebody else could have, but I couldn't have, based on how I grew up, based on the relationships that I went through growing up, and that affected everything else around me.
So when you say relationship, I mean like family wise, right?
And most relationships, to be perfectly honest with you, romantic, friends, family, all of it, it affected all of it. And it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be isolated or I wanted to be alone. It was just a way of life for me. It was something that it was for me to be for me to be in a relationship or be not by myself would be alien. It would basically be like taking a fish out of water, giving him legs.
No, when you say relationship, so we mean, so me people them know, I mean like a man and woman relationship or a family relationship.
Basically both to a certain extent. It because when it came down to any relationship that
Alright, well on, let's break it down for the people them.
okay
Local, alright.
I trying to tell you,
Talk about family relationship first,
okay,
then you go in your girlfriend side.
when it
Come on,
came
the people
down
them
to every
understand.
relationship that I've
Yeah,
ever come in contact with, it was always
yeah.
servitude. It was always I had to do something to earn something else. It was never free love. It was never,
Oh,
oh, I like you just because I like you.
yeah.
It was always what you could do to me for me, and if you can't do this for me, I don't like you. So growing up in the family that I grew up in, you always had to earn love. It was never, oh, I love you just because you is me and I is you and we got
Oh,
same blood type
oh.
situation.
So in your family now, you have to do something for earn
Anything.
a love or a relationship or respect.
Exactly.
Oh, so you have to have something then. So if you's a member of the family where don't have a luxury car or have a bag of money in the bank account, you's not relevant.
Uh-huh.
That is it.
If you can't bring value to the unit or
Okay,
to the
okay,
collective,
okay,
you didn't have a
okay,
purpose, so you would
okay. So
get
that's why you
discarded.
feel like your family them now with you and them thing there.
I mean, I never felt like that. So the feelings that I have now isn't really abnormal to me. It's basically normal. This ain't new. It's just a higher version of the exact same situations that I've always been in. It's just a more solitude based, a more isolation orientated, a
Yeah.
more psychologically outcasting type circumstances.
All right. As a BMN, what you think about BMN people? Your own culture. So what you think about your culture?
Man, how to explain the Bahamas to people?
Yeah.
The Bahamas is is a tourism-based destination. So its first industry is tourism. The second industry is banking. So the whole culture is based on the concept of entertainment. The whole concept is who's the biggest, who's the strongest, who's this, who's the fastest. The Olympic concept. It's all of that contribute to their mindset. So if you don't move big, you don't have value. You don't have relevancy. So I guess that kind of contributed to my thing, circumstances, whatever.
So that is your opinion.
That's my opinion, but I can't really go out of my way and say that's a absolute truth.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe there's certain people who do more or do less and get more. I don't know. I just only could describe it from my point of view.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes down to friendships, it was basically the same way. It was what you could do. So when it came, so not right like right now, how I am not employed and I can't really afford any to go out or do anything with anybody. I basically at a certain point I was outcast,
Yeah.
and it drove myself into self isolation, which isn't a new thing for me.
Yeah.
It's not new. I used to being isolated.
All right. So we say you grew up at Cat Island. You're born at Cat Island. Which
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I know. I was born in Princess Margaret Hospital in 1990, July 6th.
That is in Nassau,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But you're from Cat Island.
yeah. I'm from Guyana.
So what is the life growing up in Nassau here?
Oh shoot, it's it's very political. There's a lot of subsects, different groups when it comes down to social, political, economics, but they unionize when it comes down to certain things. So if it comes down to partying or going a certain way for certain people to get benefits, they'll unionize.
So living in Nassau here, it was difficult for you growing up, or it was easy for you, like how it was nice for you in a Cat Island?
It was okay. I spent from 1990 to about 2002 in Nassau, and that meant that I was 12, 13 when I went to Kid Island. So as a kid growing up in Nassau, it wasn't that bad for me because my whole family was like really suburban. When it comes to when it came down to growing up, I never used to like go out that much.
So we think about the pandemic now in a Nassau here, like the pandemic, the worldwide pandemic we are going
Last
now.
time I heard the death count was 109 people. When it comes down to the population of Bahamas, it's 350,000. It's not. I don't consider it as that bad when it comes down to population density. But yeah, my heart goes out to the family members and friends who who know those people who lost their lives. Um, when it comes down to global scale, I don't really consider it as horrible I'd say as I guess Italy, America, who lost hundreds of thousands of people, or thousands of people as I understand it. Yeah, it really did affect the economy though. It really did. Um, the whole protocol of coming in, waiting 14 days, getting tested, it basically almost demolished the tourism industry for the last what 6, 7 months, 8 months now. So it has affected a lot, considering the fact that um, Bahamas is very tourism orientated. Yeah, it
So
it affected everything.
if I ask you to give the people a word of advice, what you would have said to them?
In regards to dealing with the pandemic, um, the government really.
No.
You mean the people?
No, your behalf, like if you give them a good advice, like what is your advice to the people? I'm not about the government, like your advice,
Oh,
your thought,
to the people.
your own words.
Okay. Try to protect yourself. Try to utilize this time, and it's saying being hypocritical, saying it for me, but utilize this time to unionize yourself, to think about how it affects you and realizing that only subsections of certain people, only you could protect you from everything else. The
Alright,
government could only do so far, but only
alright.
you through your actions could.
So, what you think about the children them now we are do online classes?
I think that's good.
Thinks that's good.
Yeah, it's. I think that's gonna be very helpful to them personally when it comes down to just dealing with, because everybody who in secondary and primary school right now who doing online classes, I can help them in regards to just being more computer savvy. So when it comes down to um, tertiary education, it's going to be a smoother transition for mass majority of the Vietnamese children.
So, what I think about the single parents or the parents them who can afford these things they're asking for, like laptop, tablets, for
Man,
the children them to do online classes. Because remember, it's not everybody in the same bracket. It's not everybody is in the same circle. Some people can't afford it. So what do you think?
um, my heart goes out to you, and I hope and pray that as the pandemic wind down, and jobs are more available, that those people in those tax brackets and economical circumstances will get a break and have opportunities to pursue higher education
Yeah,
or the education that they currently are engaged in.
yeah.
Try to educate yourself as much as possible at this time. If it's not um, traditional education, try and go to a library. Try and go to read a book. Try do something. Try and um, try and find, because every education don't have to necessarily be formal education. At this time, you could also um, engage your kids into basically just learning a particular skill set that could help them survive, regardless of if they are in class or not. So the whole point ain't necessarily to have a formal education, but the whole point is to if you can't necessarily teach your kids to, or if you don't have the access, the ability to teach your kids to get a computer or a tablet, teach them skill sets, give them abilities so they could survive future things.
Yeah, yeah. Alright. But I want you to share with the people them again. Tell them why the Bahamas different from the rest of Caribbean.
Oh man,
As a Bahamian, just explain yourself. Like tell them in your own words
as
why
the,
you think the Bahamas different from the rest of Caribbean.
it's the Bahamian people have the ability to be more adaptive. I could definitely say that. There's a saying in the Bahamas that Englishman could spend 50 years in America and still be an Englishman. An American can spend 20 years in India and still be an American. And a Bahamian could spend one day in Americans and definitely be an American. And at certain points in times in history, they considered that a joke, an insult. But it also um, it's a testament to tell you how adaptive
Yeah,
the Bahamian people is as a people.
yeah,
They have the ability to go anywhere in the world and just
yeah.
survive, and in most cases even thrive. So I don't necessarily, you have to be able to turn your weaknesses into strengths. You have to be able to look at the tools around you and MacGyver your way out of them as best as you can. And if you can't, pray to God and grind grind as much as
Alright.
possible.
You want more you do for me again. Tell the people them something about the Bahamas what we might know. Like tell them the national anthem or the pledge or the national tree. What you know about the Bahamas? Like
Yellow
if
and
give them a national hero or something.
the fish of the Bahamas is what, the blue marlin, the The flower of the Bahamas is yellow alert. Highest point of the Bahamas is 109 feet above sea level. That's Mount Vernon, Kid Island. Um, what else about the Bahamas? The Bahamas have 700 islands and keys, but approximately 14 different islands. The Bahamas, oh man, Bahamas is a part of the Caribbean while also being um, what it was West Indies and Caribbean. What else? The Bahamas. The flag of the Bahamas black, yeah, gold, and what is this? Aqua, maroon aqua. Represents the spirit of the people. Black. The golden sun yellow, and the crystal clear waters aqua. What else? Oh man, um, the the Bahamas as a country is it's unique, but it's unique in its ability to just affect a lot. Like it's an underdog nation. I could say that for sure.
All right, look here. The people them want to know if it's true that Christopher Columbus is Bahama's first national hero.
It depends on who you ask. It depends on who you ask, because Christopher Columbus was technically Spanish. Can I explain the concept of underdog? When I said the word
Sure.
underdog,
Yeah.
it wasn't meant to say, oh, insulting. It meant to say the Bahamian people and the Bahamas as a nation have always been coming from behind and taking certain circumstances and situations.
Explain a little more.
Um, who let the dogs out? The group who made that song. Before then, the Bahamas wasn't on the map. Then they just came and existed for a certain time, and the Bahamian culture have ability to spread out and adapt into the whole globe. Basically.
All right. I don't know. Blessings and love and respect to all my people across the world. Bless up and enough respect to all of my subscribers. Them, you see me? Straight across the board. One love, heart of love. You know? Subscribe and share and like. Step Alive TV. Up move. Yeah, my G. All right. You are going now. You the people them want to know again. The people them want to know when was Bahamas independent.
1973. I think that was it. Yeah, 1973 or July 10th, 1973.
Okay, okay, good. I want you to know the people them want to know again, as in if Christopher Columbus was a hero, if he was a hero, yes or no, because we say in the Bahamas of Christopher Columbus Day, some say we no celebrate him, isn't it?
Uh,
So
when it comes down to that, it depends on who you ask. To the vast majority of the people, I think he was a hero. But considering the fact that his main accomplishment when coming to the Bahamas was mass genocide,
yeah,
it literally depends on. That's why I said that it depends who you ask.
yeah.
So,
But on your own behalf, may I ask you?
Christopher Columbus was a
Mm-hmm.
conqueror.
He was a conqueror.
That's what he was. That was the whole purpose of his exploration. His purpose was to get to India, but
Yeah.
when he bucked into the Western Hemisphere, he landed on what was the island? San Salvador.
Yeah.
Well, it's called San Salvador. Depending on how far you go into the history books, it was the island that is considered San Salvador. It wasn't. Today isn't considered actually San Salvador. It was considered